Hey, Assalamu alaikum everybody. Alright, so this date I'm pretty sure is very close to when this actually ended. I ended up going to Cairo for the weekend for this weekend. I had to pick up some of my favorite candy. York peppermint patties from the US. Thank you so much for sending them, my family. Um, they're not available here. I think I've said that before, and I love York peppermint patties. إلا أن, um, but I found candy that is more delicious than York peppermint patties. Again, chocolate with mint in Germany. I might have said that before as well. It was delicious. Anyways, it's called Marad al Kitab, and it was such an amazing experience. So initially, when I went to Cairo, I was planning to spend 2 days there. That was before heading to Luxor and Aswan, which I would do for the whole week after that. So on the 31st of January, I got back, packed up my stuff again, and then left straight to Cairo, back to Cairo, and then down. I'll explain that in the next post, inshallah. So this book expo, Marad al Kitab, was in Medinat Nasr. Um, this is one of the small areas within the huge Cairo province. It was amazing. I spent around maybe $50 on what would have cost a lot more. One of the guys I met there, and I spent most of the time there. I'm talking like 13 to 15 hours total in the book expo, and it was really exciting, and I learned a lot, and I had an amazing time. Um, Saw some interesting things there. So, one thing, there was a guy with a shirt that had it said marijuana on it, and it had a marijuana leaf. Um, so I turned to one of the other Egyptians who was working with him. They're all young guys, and I asked him, and I was like, "Do you know what that shirt says? Do you know what that is? Do you know what it means?" And he was like, "No, I have no clue at all." And I was like, "That means," and I explained to him in Arabic, and he started to laugh. And so I just thought that was very interesting. I mean, he's in this is this area was, where was it? It was like Darus Salam or something. Big publishing company, Islamic books, and marijuana. For those who don't know, is haram. It's against Islam. It's very clear. Because it harms your body, harms your mind. Um, well, at least it harms your mind for sure. Now, don't ask me about all the details. I just know it's not good for you. Stay away from it. But this guy who was one of the salespeople, I mean, I guess you could say one of the kids working there, had on a marijuana shirt, and I just thought that was very ironic. So I had to make a joke about it because I mean, it just didn't fit in. It just didn't fit in, and I guess he just thought it looked cool. I mean, it was a nice color. Green is my favorite color, but not the whole marijuana and the leaf thing. Um, when I went to another place, I was looking at some poems by Al Mutanabbi. The Mutanabbi is a very famous poet, especially here in Egypt. I mean, almost everyone has memorized something from his lines. For example, one I've memorized is إذا رأيت نيوب الليث بارزة فلا تظنن أن الليث يبتسم, which means if you see the fangs of a lion protruding, or they're appearing before you, then don't think that the lion is smiling. And he says, "La tadhunnanna." This is not just don't think, don't assume. It's a very powerful command right there. It's using tawkid. Uh, so very interesting. And the title of the book was Usarat al Mutanabbi. And if you know Arabic, you know asara, which means to squeeze. Asir is juice. But asara, what does that mean? So one person told me it means the heart, or the essence of something. And then another guy, and I love these like old, they're like, I don't know, 50, 60 years old Egyptian guys, usually with glasses or something. They're dressed very nice, respectable. These are like the really cultured guys, and ladies as well. Um, and they just know Arabic very well. I mean, they know their history, they know their classical Egyptian music, and I hope I can go beyond that level. Hopefully, first reach that level. And so he comes and he's like, no, no, no. And he was talking to the salesman. He's just another buyer, but this is Egypt. I mean, this happens in Egypt. He's like, Ausara doesn't mean that. It means when you make when you take an apple and cut it up and make juice out of it. That's asir, which is the juice. But Ausara means when you take and you use a misfa, which is a colander or something to uh, Safa means to, you know when you make spaghetti, that item, what's it called? Colander, or I forgot. I'm forgetting English. Anyways, that item right there, and you use it when making tea as well. Anyways, you use that and you take the purest, best of the item. That's what al-salata is. And so the Arabic language is just so deep, it's intense, and it has all this meaning. So al-salatul mutanabbi means the best of the best out of his poems. As I was checking out, I said something in Egyptian and I totally messed it up by saying it with a half Syrian, half Egyptian accent, and the girl actually laughed at me, laughed in my face. You just, again, when you're learning a language, you just have to get used to it. So I just stopped and I said, "I'm sorry, I'm Syrian," and I just repeated it in a Syrian accent, and it made sense. And I hope I redeem myself. Cairo, it's a very polluted city. It is so polluted that one of the days I did not see the sun, and that's, I think, a normal thing. It's just pollution, and it's terrible, and I hate it. I hate the pollution aspect of Cairo, um, and I don't know why. I just prefer Alexandria a lot more. It's quieter, it's more organized. I think there's less crime. It seems like a better place. Yeah. So one of the students I met, he's a grad student, U Chicago, helped me search for books. I mean, he recommended a lot of books. His specialty is in hadith, and he's like, the prices I'm paying here are 1/10 or 1/20th of what I pay, in the U.S. So when you're a grad student, PhD Islamic Studies, you go to these book expos, and scholars go to these book expos, and they start, you build up your library with those must-have big collections of books. It motivated me a lot. He gave me advice. I loved meeting and talking to people in my field. Um, I think I said this. I was going to Mathaf Masr, which is the museum of Egypt, and it focuses more on ancient Egypt, but I skipped that, and I'm glad I did. I think it was a good decision. I don't know why. I'm not too interested in ancient Egyptian history. I'm more interested in after Islam, from the early 7th, from the 7th century until now. And I'm also interested very much in modern Egyptian history, what's going on right now. It's really interesting. I'm going to generalize, but I think Egyptians can make things work, dealing with different situations. I talked about the propane tank thing last time, a few times ago. People will get these old, ancient, primitive devices, and they'll try to make use of, having less gas. This is what I heard. I've seen it work, and if the person just doesn't have scissors, he'll just take a ruler and cut it and be like, "Hey, just make it work. Just make it work." I was in this taxi in Cairo, and he didn't have a windshield wiper, or he didn't have windshield fluid, or something wasn't working. So he took out a water bottle, he drank, he shook it up, and then when he stopped, he just like sprayed it. He put his hand out the window, and then he just cleaned his window, and it worked perfectly fine. However, something about the taxis. Finally, in Cairo, I think it's been here for some time. You have these taxis that are checkered. They're white and black. And I heard that one person has found a metered cab in Alexandria as well. The thing is, they mess with them as well, and it happens in Damascus as well. In Damascus at 10 p.m. they stop working. So we paid £15 going from Muqattam, or Mu'attam, which is a higher place in Cairo, down to Medinat Nasr. And then coming back, it turned out to be 30. And that's not true. It can't be twice as much. I mean, you're going uphill, but it's the same basic way. And what really angers me is when you ask people for something and they use wallah, which means by God, I swear by God, that they don't have something. They don't have change, for example. It happened to me here at Asli in Mecca, and I'm like, "Here, do you have change?" He's like, "La wallah." "No, by God, I don't." And I'm like, "Yeah, you do." And then he's like, "Okay, here." I've at McDonald's, at KFC, they have big bills. That's why you go there, or you like the food. They will always have 50s and 100s and stuff like that, and 20s. They'll be able to make change, but they'll tell you la wallah. Or when the driver, you ask me you want to go to the place, there's this habit, and I hate it. I had like 6 or 7 taxis not want to take me back home a few nights ago because they didn't want to go to this place, even though it's right there. And they're like, "La wallah." "No, by God, I won't go there." So they just throw around God's name, and my time is ending right now. But basically, it was awesome. It happens once a year. It's the largest book expo in the world.